Hello and welcome friends in another tutorial video by these classes. In today's class we are going to talk about William Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge's joint venture Lyrical Ballads. It was published in the year 1798 for the first time with a brief foreword in it. And the year 1798 is considered to be the beginning of Romantic Age or Romantic era. The Lyrical Ballads' final publication occurred in the year 1802 with an expanded preface in it. It is actually a critical statement by William Wordsworth in which William Wordsworth has tried to free poetry from the artificial style of writing poetry, and at the same time he has tried to bring poetry nearer or closer to the common man. The preface is divided into 4 parts. Number 1, as we can say, the definition of poetry. Number 2, the essential characteristics of a poet. Number 3, the value of poetry, and number 4, diction. In order to give the definition of poetry, William Wordsworth has said that poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful emotions recollected into tranquility. By this definition, William Wordsworth has actually tried to say that a poet would gather or observe the various things in the midst of nature and around him, and thus he would gather those emotions, and he would contemplate over such things in detail and in peace. Then, with the help of his imagination, he would compose a poem. So, those thoughts and feelings should be mature enough before a poet sits and starts writing a poem. And in this definition, he has put importance on the spontaneity or a spontaneous flow of these emotions. In order to talk about the essential qualities or essential characteristics of a poet, William Wordsworth has said that a poet should be more sensitive and should have a more comprehensive soul than a common human being. And a poet has much responsibility to feel for others as he feels for himself. And then to talk about the diction, William Wordsworth has said that he prefers writing or composing poetry in the diction and language of common man. He even went to the extent of saying that I would rather prefer writing poems or composing poetry with the language of rustics. Rustics means people of village, the villagers. William Wordsworth believed that as the villagers, they are so simple in their lifestyle, in their mannerism and behavior, so there is simplicity in their language too. He said so in order to bring poetry more closer to the common people, so that more and more people can read and enjoy the poem, and their life and their thoughts can be made refined, and they can be made culturally more intense and rich. He also went to the extent of saying that there is no such difference in the use of, in the words of a prose piece and a piece of poem, though later on Coleridge criticized him for this view, as Coleridge was of the opinion that there is obviously a difference in the use of, in the diction of prose and in the diction of poetry. As in poetry there is meter, but in prose there is no such meter. And the word order of poem is different from the word order of a prose, as word order is maintained in poem, but there is no such word order is maintained mandatorily while writing any prose piece. Then we would talk about the value of poetry. William Wordsworth has said that poetry, the function of poetry is not just to entertain the readers, but also to enlighten the readers, to make them culturally rich and to make them more human and sensible. to make the society more human and sensible, and to make them culturally intense. So William Wordsworth also said that so every poet has a responsibility to strengthen the society, both culturally and from the viewpoint of sense. William Wordsworth has also said that every poet is a teacher. He also said that poetry is the fruit and flower of human knowledge. So that's all for now. If you have not yet subscribed the channel, please subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon